You know, one of my secret hobbies is actually doing mobile photography and video. And when it comes to doing that, I love having tons of accessories to help kind of increase what is capable for me to do. And that's where this company, Sandmarc, has come into play. They reached out to me and actually sent me over a handful of their lenses, including their ND filter kit, in order for me to test out and let you guys know personally if I think these are worth the price. What's good, creative fan? Brandon Washington here. First of all, if you're brand new to the channel, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button, because this channel is all about filmmaking and photography gear, tips, and tutorials. But in today's video, we are taking a look at the Sandmarc Mobile Photography Lens Kit. Now, Sandmarc is a company that has been making accessories for action cams like the GoPros, and they've been making filters for like drones, but recently they jumped into the mobile photography range, creating some lenses that you can use in order to have like a wide angle lens or a macro lens, and even going as far as creating ND filters, and that's exactly what they have sent me to test out for this video. Now, along with the lenses and ND filters, they did also send me over this guy here. This is the case that you actually use with the lenses, but I'm going to show you guys here really quickly why you actually don't have to buy a case when you purchase a lens. Now, whenever you get your lenses in, inside of every single box is actually a few different things, but you'll notice that when you get your box, it actually says what type of phone you have. Now, that's not because the lenses only work with certain types of phones, but that's because inside every box is actually a case and a clip for that specific phone. So unlike some other manufacturers where it only comes with a clip or you have to buy your case in order to actually use the lens, this lens comes with the case you need. Now, this isn't the nicest case that they make. They actually have some better ones that actually have, buttons on it and kind of feel a little bit more premium. But if you just need that case in order to actually use the lens, it's nice that one comes with it. The other thing that I already mentioned is that it comes with a clip. So if you find yourself being in the camp where you're not a big case person, or you'd rather use like a D-brand skin or something like that, well, they actually have you covered as well. You can actually screw your lens directly to this clip and actually clip this onto your phone and be able to use the lens that way. So you don't have to use a case if you don't want to, but you have the option to use pretty much whatever you want in order to use your lens. Also inside the box, you're gonna find this nice little carrying cloth, so that way you can actually put your lens in here. And then the other thing that I like is that it actually comes with a cleaning cloth, so that way you can use that to either clean the lens itself or to actually clean your camera's lens. Now, one thing that was really unique to me and I thought was kind of a genius thing is if you've ever purchased like a Moment lens before, you know that it always comes with a cap on the front, but theirs doesn't actually come with a cap on the back. And these do come with that cap on the back, which I thought was really, really nifty. I know that Moment has recently come out with like a back cap and they sell it on their website, I think for like around $5 or something like that. But it's really cool to know that this lens and all their lenses actually come with not only a front cap, but a rear cap as well, which in my opinion is where most of the dust actually gets caught up. Now, as cool as all that is when it comes to their lenses, they also have an ND filter kit. And just like with the actual lenses, you're actually gonna get a clip to actually go with the ND filter. So this means that you don't actually have to use their lenses in order to actually use this ND filter kit. You can use this directly on your phone itself. However, I will say that the ND filters are threaded. And if you are using like their wide angle lens, for example, you can actually thread the ND filters directly onto this lens. So you don't have to use the clip. I mean, the fact that they have gone so far into think about how their accessories mount with their other accessories, I personally think is just impressive, especially because a lot of people who get this wide lens is probably going to want to use it for video. And if you want to be able to keep your shutter speed at its proper position, then it's really nice to be able to have an ND filter that you can thread right on. But what comes with the ND filter kit? Well, inside here, like I mentioned, is the clamp, but also in this nice little carrying case is 3 different ND filters varying from ND 32, 64, and 128. So if you want to just use it for capturing video in bright situations, you have ND for that. But also one thing that I thought was really cool, especially with that ND 128, is if you are trying to do long exposure photography with your smartphone, it's nice to have that ND filter on there to make things a little bit darker so you can use a longer shutter. But enough about what comes with these lenses and accessories. What is it like to actually use these? And I can say first and foremost, the first thing that you're gonna notice with these lenses is the build quality. These things are rugged. They are built like tanks. They're very, very hard, very durable, and I can feel that already. The other thing that you're gonna notice is, as I mentioned, especially with this wide one, is that a lot of stuff has already been pre-considered. For example, having the thread on this thing makes it super easy to actually go ahead and use this with the ND filters. But the other thing is that they have a thread on the back as well, and that is actually how you attach it to the case or to the clamp. So it's actually quite easy. You literally just take this and you line it up, and then you just kind of thread it right onto the phone, and now it is attached, and you know that it's not going anywhere. I mean, it has to spin on there, like, you know, maybe like 4 or 5 good turns, but that's how I know that this isn't gonna fall off. There's no way that you can accidentally bump this or hit this or do anything that's gonna really take this off the case. So you know that you have a solid connection. So when you're out filming, all you have to worry about is holding onto your phone. You don't have to think about, well, what if someone accidentally bumps the lens, or if I accidentally nick the lens on something? You know that it's not coming off the case, and you're gonna be able to get some really cool shots, which is the next thing I wanna jump into. Shooting with these lenses is pretty much like shooting with almost any wide angle lens that you can add onto your phone. The thing I will mention is this thing is pretty sharp edge to edge, and using this wide angle lens is really nice. When shooting with the wide angle lens, you're pretty much gonna be able to get basically 2 times as wide. It's technically a 0.56 times adapter, so you're actually getting, you know, just a little bit shy of 2 times, but realistically it's closer to 2 times, and it's really, really helpful, especially if you're trying to take photos or videos in a really tight room. I mean, here are a couple of examples of some photos that I took just using the basic camera and then using it with the wide angle lens, and you can see just how much area I'm actually able to get, and also how sharp it's staying. The other thing is that you'll notice that there's no color shifting with these lenses, so you're actually getting a very accurate shot using these lenses directly connected to the smartphone. Now, as much fun as shooting with the wide angle lenses, I really, really enjoyed shooting with the macro. In fact, when it comes to my moment lenses, I've never had the macro version, and so I had a lot of fun playing around with the macro version of these Sandmarc lenses. When it came to shooting with the macro version, I found that it was super sharp, especially on taking photos of things really up close. Now, it is a macro lens, and unlike like my Canon 100mm, like my professional photography macro lens, you can only use this macro lens on macro shots. However, what it does really well. Here are a couple examples of some macro shots that I actually got using this lens. And one thing that I thought was really, really beneficial was that with this lens comes this nice little like plastic case here. And at first I really wasn't sure what its purpose was. If you're trying to take a macro shot, this pretty much tells you about how close you need to actually be to the subject in order to get it in focus. So whenever I was getting some of those up close shots, I actually literally just put this up against the thing that I was taking a photo of, and I was easily able to get what I needed in focus. So that's what this little plastic piece is for. It's really helpful. So if you didn't know, there you go. All right, and last but not least, let's jump into the ND filters. Now, as I mentioned, that these ND filters are super beneficial, especially if you're trying to do video. One of the biggest issues with smartphones and most smartphones is that you don't control the aperture. So you're only able to actually control your ISO and your shutter. And when you really are trying to get clean video, you want to keep your ISO as low as possible. But if you're shooting outside in bright daylight, well, that really hurts your opportunity to keep that ISO super low and keep that shutter at double your frame rate. Well, using an ND filter basically helps solve that issue. So especially if you're finding yourself filming or taking photos in any apps that allow you to have full manual control over your camera settings, using an ND filter to help cut out some of that unnecessary extra light, you're gonna be super happy that you have it. So after having some time to play around with these lenses and actually talking to a couple of people about how much I love them, one of the big questions that a good friend of mine asked is, well, how do they compare to something like the Moment lenses? So because these were sent to me, I didn't actually know what the prices were. So I was really kind of interested to look online and find out that these things actually cost just a little bit less than the Moment lenses do, but they technically give you more. And so what I mean by that is this lens here, which is the wide angle lens, is about $99. But when you compare that to the Moment version, which is actually just a little bit over $100, it is technically less expensive. However, with this lens, you also get a back cap. You're still gonna get a front cap, which you do get with the Moment, but you're also gonna get a clip. So if you wanna just be able to clip this to the front of your lens in case you don't wanna use a case, but then you also get a case, which with Moment, you do have to buy your own cases, which I do have Moment cases. Like I said, I have Moment lenses and they make great products, but for the price, you really do get a little bit more bang for your buck with these here. Which kind of led me to this point of I really want to start testing these and comparing them to the Moment lens. So if you're interested in that video, leave a comment down below and definitely hit that subscribe button because I definitely see myself doing a comparison, the Sandmarc lenses versus the Moment lenses to see which one is actually the best. You know, whether you're a professional photographer or a professional videographer and you always have your phone on you, whether you're just using it for, you know, capturing some creative content or you're really just using it for like location scouting, I think that getting a nice set of lenses to go alongside your creative kit is really worth it. And with the size of how small these lenses are, they're really easy to throw into your creative bag already. I mean, especially when shooting with the wide angle lens, I absolutely loved this lens so much because being able to get more of a room in frame and not have to deal with distortion or anything like that, or especially when you're in a situation where you just can't back up anymore, this is definitely a lens I would recommend. When it comes to the macro lens, on the other hand, this is definitely a specialty lens. So if you find yourself needing that, then I think it's a really cool lens to pick up, and especially for the price, it's pretty good. But this is more of a specialty type thing. Now, with the ND filters, however, this is huge. I absolutely love the ND filters, especially because when it comes to video, I'm a huge stickler for wanting to keep my shutter speed, double my frame rate, and pretty much when you're shooting outdoors, the only real way to do that is with an ND filter. And so it's so cool that you can actually attach ND filters directly to this lens and to your camera. But let me know what you guys think down below. If you thought those photos were good, if you have any input, or if there's other lenses that you know about that you'd love to actually have me check out and review on this channel, let me know down below. But thank you guys so much for checking out this video. If you are interested in more mobile photography, I did an entire video on the Moment lenses that I have as well. So definitely check out that video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.